She never told you she was testing you. She never sat down, wrote a list, or planned any of it out. But from the moment she started feeling something for you, the tests began. Quiet, invisible, and happening in real time. Most men fail them without ever knowing they existed, and the ones who pass are not the ones with the best looks or the most money. They are the ones who understood something most men never figure out. That trust is not given in relationships. It is earned through a series of moments that she is watching far more carefully than she ever lets on. What you are about to hear is going to make you look back at moments in your relationship with completely different eyes. Now let us get into it. The first test is the pressure test. And she runs this one early. She will say something that challenges your confidence, push back on a decision you made, or create a small moment of tension just to see what happens next. Not because she wants conflict, but because she needs to know how you handle it. Relationship psychologists consistently note that emotional stability under pressure is one of the top qualities women assess before deciding whether a man is safe to trust with deeper feelings. If you fold, get defensive, or immediately try to fix her mood to relieve your own discomfort, you have communicated that your inner foundation is shaky. If you stay calm, grounded, and unbothered, you have just passed one of the most important tests she will ever run without either of you acknowledging it happened. The second test is the reliability test. She asked you to do something small. Maybe she mentioned something in passing. Maybe she made a casual request. Maybe she brought up something that mattered to her and watched to see if you remembered it later. This test is not about the task itself. It is about what follow-through communicates. Research on trust formation in relationships consistently shows that reliability on small things is the single most accurate predictor of how a man will show up on the big things. She is not checking your calendar. She is checking your character. A man who remembers, who follows through, who does what he said he would do without being reminded twice, is a man who makes her feel safe in a way that words alone never could. Meet Andre. He had been seeing someone for about 6 weeks when she casually mentioned her favorite restaurant, while they were talking about something else entirely. He said nothing, made no big deal of it. But 3 weeks later he booked a table there for their next date without explanation. She walked in, looked around, and understood immediately that he had been listening the whole time. That single moment shifted something for her. Not because it was romantic in the traditional sense, but because it told her that he paid attention, that she was not just noise in the background of his life. That is the kind of moment that builds trust faster than any conversation ever will. And it started with the smallest, most forgettable comment she had ever made. The third test is the emotional vulnerability test. At some point, she is going to share something real with you, a fear, a frustration, a moment from her past that she does not hand to everyone. And when she does, she is not looking for a solution. She is measuring your response. Do you listen fully, or do you immediately try to fix it? Do you make her feel heard, or do you redirect the conversation back to yourself? Emotional safety researchers point out that how a man responds to a woman's vulnerability in the early stages of a relationship determines how deeply she will ever allow herself to trust him. One dismissive response can close a door that takes months to reopen. One moment of genuine presence and understanding can open a level of connection that changes everything between you. The fourth test is the consistency test. And this one runs the longest. She is watching whether the man who showed up in the first 2 weeks is the same man who shows up in month 3, whether the effort fades once she seems interested, whether the respect shifts once comfort sets in. Most men bring their absolute best version forward at the start, and then gradually ease into a version of themselves that requires far less effort. She notices every single shift. Behavioral research on long-term attraction shows that inconsistency is one of the primary reasons women emotionally withdraw from relationships that seemed promising at the start. She is not looking for perfection. She is looking for a man whose behavior is predictable in the best way possible. A man who means what he does and does what he means consistently over time. The fifth test is how you treat people who can do nothing for you. She is watching how you speak to the waiter, how you respond to someone who makes a mistake in front of you, how you talk about people when they are not in the room. This test reveals character in a way that no direct conversation ever could, because you cannot rehearse it. Gender psychology research highlights that the way a man treats people he has no reason to impress is one of the clearest indicators of who he actually is beneath the version he presents to the world. She is not just choosing a partner. She is choosing an environment. And how you treat others tells her everything about what kind of environment she would be stepping into. Here is the truth that ties all of this together. Women do not run these tests to trap you or to create obstacles. They run them because trust without evidence is just hope. And hope alone is not enough to build something real on. Every test is her nervous system quietly asking the same question in different ways. Is this man who he says he is? And the men who pass are not performing. They are simply living in alignment with who they actually are consistently, calmly, and without the need for her approval to stay that way. If this hit differently than you expected, drop a comment below. Hit that like button, subscribe, because we cover the real conversations here, and share this with someone who needs to hear it today. See you in the next one.